Okay, for this page, I'm not going to worry about the top part of it, but we're going to be looking at multiplying when we don't have just one term outside of the parentheses, we have multiple. So for example, if I have like 30 plus 5 times negative 10 plus negative 2, yes, we can combine like terms and make it easier, but I want to show you the method that we could use to multiply things that have multiple terms. So the first thing we can do is take this first part and make it the top part of a box. To make each term one column on this box, and then take the second part and make it rows on the box. So we put the 30 here, the 5 there, the negative 10 here, and the negative 2 there. Then we're going to multiply in to fill in this box. So 30 times negative 10 would give me negative 300. 5 times negative 10 would give me negative 50. 30 times negative 2 would give me negative 60. And 5 times negative 2 would give me negative 10. Then we combine on like terms. Well, for these ones, these are all numbers, so they're all like terms. Negative 300 minus 50 minus 60 minus 10 would give me negative 420. Another way of doing this is to do distribution, but we need, since we have multiple terms in front of this pair of parentheses, we're going to need to distribute twice. So we're going to distribute 30, and then we're going to distribute 5. So distributing the 30 to the negative 10 and the negative 2, you get negative 300. And then 30 times negative 2 is negative 60. 5 times negative 10 is negative 50. And 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Again, combining like terms, negative 300 plus negative 60 plus negative 50 plus negative 10 equals negative 420. And so our answer is negative 420. This was two different methods to get to the same number. Now we're going to look at what this looks like when we are multiplying with polynomials, so things that have variables as well. We have x plus 5 times x minus 2. Again, we're making this first part, one of those two terms, into our rows, x and plus 5. And then the second one is going to be our columns, x and minus 2. We're going to multiply in to fill in the box. So in this one would be x times x, which is x squared. And this one would be 5 times x, which is 5x. And this one would be negative 2 times x, which is negative 2x. And negative 2 times 5 would be negative 10. We then need to combine like terms. The only like terms that we have here are negative 2x and 5x, which would make 3x. Then we should have the x squared in front and the minus 10 at the end. We just multiply to fill in the box and then combine like terms. Same thing on the other side, x plus 5 times x minus 2. We're going to distribute both terms. We're going to distribute the x, and then we're going to distribute the 5. So we're going to distribute the x first, and then we're going to distribute the 5. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 5 times x is 5x. And 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Combine these like terms to get 3x. And we're going to get x squared plus 3x minus 10. Okay, and the next one we have more terms. We have x minus 4, and then we have x squared plus 3x minus 1. Typically, we want to put the longest one on the top. So we have x squared plus 3x minus 1. We have 3 terms there. And then we have x and minus 4 on the side. Filling in these boxes, we have x times x times x squared is x cubed. X times 3x would be 3x squared. X times negative 1 would be negative x. Negative 4 times x squared would be negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times 3x would be negative 12x. and negative 4 times negative 1 would be a positive 4. So now we need to combine our like terms. 3x squared and negative 4x squared would combine to make just negative 1x squared. Negative 12x and negative x would combine to make negative 13x. And then we have x cubed in front and plus 4 at the end. Okay, it's the same thing. Over here, we're going to distribute the x, and then we're going to distribute the negative 4. So x and negative 4. X times x squared is x cubed. X times 3x is 3x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Negative 4 times x squared is negative 4x squared. Negative 4 times 3x is negative 12x. And negative 4 times negative 1 is 4. Okay, combining like terms, we don't have anything to combine with the x cubed, so that'll stay x cubed. Then we have 3x squared. We can combine with negative 4x squared, which is negative x squared. Then we have the negative x, so we can combine with the negative 12x, which is negative 13x. And finally, the plus 4. So that gives me, looks like I don't have room here. Let me erase that real quick. That gives me x cubed minus x squared minus 13x plus 4. Okay, I'm going to do one more with you, and then I will leave you to do the rest, both this page and the next page on your own. So we have 4x minus y times 4x plus y. I'm going to put the 4x and the minus y on the top, and then the 4x and the plus y on the side. Fill in these boxes. 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times negative y would be negative 4xy. 4x times y would be 4xy. And then y times negative y would be negative y squared. Okay. Combine our like terms, negative 4xy and positive 4xy would actually cancel out. And so that would leave me with just 16x squared minus y squared. 16x squared minus y squared. For the double distribution, I'm going to zoom in so that way I have enough room to write everything. We're going to be distributing 4x and then the negative y. So we're going to distribute 4x times 4x plus y. Excuse me. And then I'm going to distribute the negative y times 4x plus y. So 4x times 4x would give me 16x squared. 4x times y would give me plus 4xy. Negative y times 4x would give me plus negative 4xy. And negative y times y would give me plus negative y squared. Combine our like terms, and they cancel out. 4xy plus negative 4xy cancels out. And that leaves me with 16x squared minus y squared, which is our answer for this one. 16x squared minus y squared. So hopefully that will help you to fill in the rest of this page and then also the next page where we are multiplying. One note that I may need to help you with, when you see this squared outside of parentheses like this, x squared minus 7, that means it's going to be x squared minus 7 times x squared minus 7. And then you'll be multiplying that. The same thing over here. X squared minus 7 squared would be x squared minus 7 times x squared minus 7, and then multiply those using the area method and the distributing method.